Guys, I'm hoping this is gonna be my last video, or last like long video. I'll still do like short videos to update on Mullen and stuff, but I really don't care to repeat myself and go over all the information over and over and over again like I used to. This is me. Hello, how are you? Welcome you. We're gonna learn a couple things. We're gonna see what the rest of the world is saying, and then we're gonna do some basic math, and we're gonna find out exactly where the low price bars should be for you personally when you invest in Mullen, and you're expecting a squeeze. So the squeeze has not come yet. We're up 500% off the floor that it hit, but that is nothing in comparison to what it's about to do. Like those gains are the smallest gains that in comparison of what's to come. We're about to do a lot more than 500% in a day. I mean, maybe not in a day, but over a week we'll do at least 1,000% for sure. It's gonna be a beautiful thing, and I want to walk you through it. So where should we start? The first place that we will start is, okay, so let's start with Reddit. So let's take a look at this. Alright, so I've been permanently banned from r/Mullen. And if you, basically there was no mod for r/Mullen, so some guy created this like a couple months ago, and then he left, and he hasn't been on Reddit since, and there was no mod. So I was able to post all my great DD, and I was very bullish, and people were getting mad at me saying I was too bullish because I was telling people to YOLO everything they got, their life savings, at 72 cents, and they said that was ridiculous and no one should ever do that, and they were all calling me a shill when they were the ones that not being bullish on Mullen in an r/Mullen freaking Reddit. So that was very annoying. But basically I would like fight with my haters that would always tell me that I'm wrong or this or that, and they supposedly banned me for, well, so like a couple days ago a guy came on and said I'm the moderator for this channel, and I said, I thought there wasn't a moderator, and he said, well, yeah, there wasn't, but Reddit set it up. So basically somebody like corporate Reddit said we need to get a moderator on this channel so it doesn't get too crazy, and then the only person that gets banned from it is me. Think about that for a second. If you look at this, a couple days before all that went down, I got banned for 30 days from r/Short Squeeze, another place where I was getting hundreds of upvotes for everything that I posted. If we just take a quick look at my profile, so if we look at my posts, like, people were loving my stuff. All my stuff getting upvoted. People were loving my stuff. This is all Mullen. Everything that you're seeing right here is posted for Mullen. Everything is Mullen. Everything is Mullen. And I've been posting about it for 2 or 3 weeks now, and then all of a sudden, the last couple days, I get banned from both r/Short Squeeze, which was supposed to also not have a moderator, and then I get banned from r/Mullen for posting too much bullish news about Mullen. Can you freaking work that logic out in your head? But basically, since the beginning when I started posting, people were loving my stuff. Some of this only has little likes because I already got banned, or the links didn't go through. But yeah, I was posting for a minute, guys. 11 days ago. Let's see here. These 0 upvotes, they just didn't get uploaded for whatever reason. Reddit kind of sucks sometimes. 12 days ago. 70 up likes 14 days ago. Posting about Mullen, telling people to YOLO everything they got into it back when it was at 72 cents. 15 days ago. You see what I'm saying? All Mullen since I start. And so I didn't post until 4 months before that. So 16 days ago was my first Mullen post. And then before that, I haven't used Reddit for 4 months. Like, the only reason I came back was for Mullen, because Mullen was obvious. Yeah, guys. So that's the kind of went down with Reddit. I just feel like when they're trying to censor me from telling people what's true or not, There's a reason for it, and it's because Mullen's about to go way, way up, and I'm the only one telling people that it's about to go way, way up. If we look at... Ain't nobody ever heard of Nile ever. Okay, but if we look at... r/short squeeze, and we go through here, Nile may pull a Mullen soon. I was looking through this the other day, and there's a lot of Niles. There's another Nile. Nile could be the next runner. If you go on Twitter, everyone that was pushing Mullen is starting to push Nile. Not everyone, but a lot of them. And basically, it's a way to distract you. It's a way to pull your money from the short squeeze that is happening and to diversify so that the damage of the short squeeze is less to the institution. And so you just gotta, like, when you look at these people, if they're not 100% all in on Mullen saying that's the only play, you gotta understand that it's likely that somebody is paying them something to, and with the context of, hey, this is going to damage a lot of people, this is going to hurt a lot of people, and we're just trying to help like the majority of people by not letting Mullen just destroy the world, because a short squeeze could destroy the financial world, except for the people that are invested in the short squeeze. And so what they do is they start like creating all these different opportunities for people to invest in, whether it's the gold company that AMC bought into, whether it's BBBY that Ryan Cohen bought into, whether it's the oil or whether it's the energy companies that have been skyrocketing and dropping like crazy over the last couple weeks, whether it's the pharmas that have been going crazy for the last couple days, just all over the place. They are creating all these different opportunities, but Mullen's the only thing that holds the support. And so I really don't like seeing people push Nile, because that's like a guy who, he owns a company called Nile. It's just an investment firm. They own a little bit of Mullen, and they did a YouTube interview for Mullen CEO, and all he was doing the whole time was saying, I'm not telling you to buy Mullen, and I like Bitcoin, and the CEO's over there saying we're not a successful company. They're not saying anything about dilution. They didn't say anything about how much cash they raised. So that's the next thing. If we go to my Twitter, check this out. It might take a minute to get there, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So I need to go to about a week ago. Come on. Let's go. This is all Mullen, people. It's the only thing I talk about. Until the squeeze has happened, I will talk about nothing else. If you ain't on the same page, you just don't care about your money, obviously. All right. It's got to be around here soon. Okay, so you see this one? You see, on March 11th, I said, you see how the stock price has hit a new high today and holding at a price? It's because at this time, they have to dilute to maintain a stable number. Squeeze confirmed. I've seen them fake this before, but never on a market cap this small. This is the smallest. Okay, there's that response. Let's see. Let's see what this guy says. There's... Let's see here. This guy is dumb. He's saying that there's 188 million outstanding, but that was just a share offering that hasn't actually been offered. Let's see. I guess it doesn't really matter if I find the one where the hater was at. But basically, a guy's coming on saying that I couldn't possibly know that it's being diluted without insider information. and that how could I know if it's being diluted or not, and just saying that it's not being diluted, otherwise they would have told us. And I told him, well, then why didn't they tell us until a week later every single time they diluted AMC? Now let's see if I can find the dilution confirmation. So on March 11th, we saw I was saying that it was diluted, and the very first news anyone could confirm that it was diluted was this one right here, which is March 14th. So 3 days after I said they were diluting, all of a sudden we found out, following a prospectus for the sale of 228 million shares, filing shows significant increase in shares outstanding and number of shares excluded from float. Shares outstanding has now increased for 188 million with a free float of 82%. Before, there was 75 million shares. Insiders own 50 million. The float was 25 million. And now the float's 82% of 188 million, so it's 150 million. So basically retail ownership went from 25 million shares to 150 million shares. We went from 33% owners of the company to 60% owner of the company, if not more. And every day they've been diluting this week, and we haven't got any more news on that. This was the week before that they did this dilution, and we got the news on Monday, and they've been diluting every single day this week also. All right, so there's that. Now, I've been like on Reddit and a bunch of stuff. If we go back there one more time, this guy will come on here, and I said $10 is the floor by Wednesday, could be more, crash Thursday, Friday. He says Wednesday 3/16, the standard market session closed Mullen at $1.61, the same time that the CEO of Mullen sold 200,000 shares, and I'm sure other executives sold shares too. He says, hey, what does this mean? Stock will crash. If we go to his other comment, he says, you're saying we can make a 10,000% profit if we take your simple advice. I sure hope you're right. What's your target for this 10,000% gain? So far, your advice has proven wrong, so we'll see. I'll keep track of your guarantees, and you be right and everyone else be wrong. So I said Mullen is the next great squeeze. You can all turn $1,000 into $100,000 easy if you take my simple advice, and it's all about day trading. Not day trading, but swing trading. So we wait for the absolute top when it hits $30, $40, and then we cash out, and then we sell until it crashes down to $10, and then we buy back in until it goes all the way back up to $100, and then we cash out when it just drops steadily after that, because that's how squeezes work. And ultimately, like, I've made a lot of claims in here, but every single time, if you actually read my comments, I'm always saying that if it doesn't squeeze, it's because they're diluting, and that they can dilute in order to withhold the squeeze for a certain amount of time, but that the more they dilute at these prices, the higher we're going to go. And so now let's talk about the price and where the price action is going to go. I'm just going to show you AMC as an example. Because this was the biggest dilution war that retail has ever fought, and so that's why it's my example. All right. Okay. Oops. All right, so if we look here, back in 2020, AMC is going from 4 to 5 to 6 to 6 to 5 to 4 to 3, all the way down to $2. All the way down to $2 coming into November. November, December, still at $2. $1.99 we hit. And then it starts to go parabolic. Now, all that data that I just showed you right here, for this 6 months of swinging between $5 and $2, they only diluted 120 million shares. Meaning there wasn't that much buying power. And then when this giant spurt happened to 20 on January 27th, they diluted 100 million shares that day or this week. And so they did 100 million shares over like the period of 6 months, and then they did 100 million shares over the period of 1 day or so, and at the super high price, so that they could dilute retail buying power. Well, what I'm getting at is that they wanted to sell the minimum number of shares down here. They had 500 million shares to sell. They only sold 120 million down here. And then after this, when it went from $8 to $14, So after that giant spurt in January, it was always between $8 and $14. Here they diluted, so they diluted the 120 million in the first 6 months, then they diluted 100 million in January, and then they diluted 250 million all the way up until the $72 bounce in June. So all the way up until we saw basically like right here. And so the point is that they want to get their best price for their dilution, because it's the best way to beat retail buying power, and it's the best way to control a stock, is to, like, let's just say there's only $10 billion worth of retail volume out there that would ever buy into a stock for a short squeeze. Well, if they can dilute half their shares for $10 billion and keep the other half, then they'll know that stock is never going to squeeze again. But they can't do that at $2 a share, because that's only $1 billion worth of buying power, which means we'll still have $9 billion to buy every share, but we already own every share, which means we get to pick the floor. And they'll never let us pick the floor. And so, if you compare this logic of between $2 and $5, they sold 120 million shares. Well, right now, they've sold over 200 million shares on Mullen under $2. That is dramatically worse than what they did with AMC. They are dramatically in a worse spot with MULN than they are with than they ever were with AMC. MULN, they did the 200 million shares all in the last week, and it's probably closer to 300 million or more, because we haven't got updated dilution for any day this week. And so, if you think about this, and let's just say the $2 was the first 120 million they diluted. Well, if that's the case, after that it went between $8 and $14. And so, well, that's not counting the top of the squeeze, so it went all the way up to $20, and then when it crashed, it held between $8 and $14. And so if we look at the $2 to $20, it's a 10x on your money. So right now Mullen's sitting at $3. So let's say Mullen's going to squeeze to $30. They're going to dilute again, and then the $8, and then they'll probably trade between $10 and $15, maybe $10 and $18 as retail continues to buy a dip for another squeeze. That's like the most likely outcome, is they're going to let it run to $30 next week, maybe the week after at the worst case scenario, and then they're going to dilute heavy. They're going to crash it back down to about $10, and we'll see if retail comes back and buys the dip one more time. And if they do, then after that, you figure at least $100 will be the next squeeze. At least 100. I hope that made sense. I hope you see where I'm calculating my numbers from. It's just a ballpark. There's no guarantees or exactness here, but this is the closest analyst you're going to be able to find, or closest analytics you're going to be able to find on what to expect, how to play it, how you know you got them trapped, and why you should be 100% invested in Mullen. Because when you know there's a short squeeze coming, when you know they're having a dilution war at the bottom price, you know they got to let the price go way, way, way high. And if you're not 100% invested in something that's guaranteed easy money, like, it just makes me question what you're doing with your life. It really does. All right, guys. Well, like I said, I'll do small videos, updates of just the day-to-day on Mullen, but I want to do one big picture one and let you guys know that it's still plenty early to get in. I was telling people you were so early back at 72 cents. I hope you bought in then, but if you haven't, you're still early. Squeeze has not been squoze.